Now, each week, Alistair invites a rising star to join him. So far, we've had a refugee who's building a restaurant empire, a youth police commissioner and an extraordinary young woman making waves in the engineering world. And today, in Alistair's absence, he's not present, Paul is, we're continuing the segment with our rising star for this week. Having been an actor since the age of 13, Ella Greenwood decided she wanted to showcase the real impact of mental health, having struggled with her own. She started a production company focusing on mental health-based projects and raising awareness of the issues for teenagers. And at the age of just 20, Ella has been included in Forbes 30 under 30, of which you and I do not qualify.
No.
And now she's teamed up with another director to work on a very exciting project. And she's here now to tell us all about it. Ella, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming inside on the hottest day of the year ever in the most glorious sunshine.
It's nice to be in AC.
So tell us, why did you start a production company?
So, like you said, I've been acting for quite a long time, and, you know, it's the process of waiting for auditions and getting rejected non-stop, and it was just a hell of a lot of waiting. And as a creative, you know, I like to be creative, and I just decided that I wanted to create my own work and thought that a production company would be a good way to do that.
Yeah. I heard you read some pretty naff scripts as well while you were kind of waiting, and then you thought, do you know what, I'll just do it myself, I'll write my own script.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, just things that, you know, people don't really say and stories that weren't really important to me. So I thought, I'll give it a try, see what happens, and just kind of went from there.
Can you remember any examples of weird things you've read that you thought, they would never say that?
I can't remember, no. There's been probably too many.
Yeah.
But this is a huge step for someone so young. So how did you fund the early projects?
So my first one was crowdfunded. So there are different platforms where you can do that. You kind of just put a video up talking about the project, why you want it to get made. And yeah, people help you out and kind of get involved and donate. And I also contacted just different investors that I had seen online had invested in shorts, and just sent them an email and a nice message. And yeah, they were, you know, really responsive, which was great.
Did that surprise you?
It did, yeah, it really did, because I just thought, you know, it's just a random email from someone, like, that's so impersonal. But because my first short was about mental health, and I really did, you know, kind of want to raise awareness of mental health, I think people could connect to that.
Yeah, and you chose mental health because that's something that you, like many of us, have suffered from.
Yeah, I really struggled as a young teen with my mental health, and kind of what I saw in the media made it so much worse. It was very triggering, and just a really bad representation. And I thought,
what do you mean by that? Is that what you'd seen in the media?
So, you know, there's a lot of statistics that kind of go over it in terms of people with mental illness being really criminalised, and it being just so overemphasised and really isolating people with mental illnesses, and focusing on the dramatic aspects, suicide scenes, stuff like that, that's just really triggering. So yeah, I wanted to try and change that with my work.
Has that changed now? Because that was back then, and now, would you say there's been some progress?
Honestly, no. I've seen a lot of work recently that is, you know, people have found to be triggering, and like I can definitely see why a lot of work that's aimed at young people romanticises suicide, which, you know, is very harmful. So I think there's a lot more that needs to be done.
I imagine being an actor from such an early age, 13, social media, all those pressures. I mean, it's difficult for anyone, but I think kind of when you're doing something in sort of public eye, like acting, I can imagine that takes an even tougher toll on someone's mental health. Yeah,
and it was just also, it is hard being a creative and constantly getting rejected, and also just not hearing back. You know, you'd audition for something, and a lot of the time you just would never hear back, and you'd still hope that you'd get the part, and then you'd see like someone else had been cast. So yeah, there are definitely things that do make it quite difficult to be a creative.
Yeah, how do you build up that resilience? Because you're at a young age, and you know, rejection's tough at any age, but especially when you're younger and you're still finding your way in the world. How did you cope with that? How did you deal with that?
It's just it's so hard, you know, you have to just kind of tell yourself, just forget about it and move on. Like, you've done the audition, or you've submitted that, or, you know, you've had this meeting, just wait, and maybe you hear back, maybe you don't, but it's better to just forget about it and on to the next thing, really.
Yeah. Did you get much support from family, friends?
Yes.
They kind of G you up? Would you bounce stuff off for your family and friends? Because, oh, I got another letter, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, my family is so supportive, and so are my friends. They're the first people that I send scripts to and make them watch all of my films, kind of force them to. But yeah, no, they're incredibly supportive.
I do the same with my parents. I insist that they watch whenever I'm on GBNews. Their family, your family, your fan club.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the response been to the projects that you've worked on?
Really amazing. So my first short, the first thing I did was send it out for reviews, and I just got such amazing feedback. People who, weren't really similar to me at all, but could relate to the story about a teenage girl from London. And yeah, just saying that they hope that the conversation continues. So that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of it now. This was the first short you made?
No, this is Smudge Smile, a film that we've just finished. So we're getting ready for it to kind of get out there in the world.
Right, and talk us through it. What's it about?
So Smudge Smile is about Zoe, a teenage girl who is full of life and, very energetic and happy, but then she just, out of nowhere, starts struggling with her mental health. And it's her 16th birthday, and, you see her at a party there, and it's just, all of a sudden, she's not able to be happy, and it's very hard for those around her to kind of understand why, and for her to even understand why, because a lot of the time it is out of the blue. So yeah, it just kind of follows her and that journey. Yeah,
and that is something that so many young people will be able to relate to.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, for me personally, there was no cause of when I really started struggling. It was out of the blue, and I didn't know what I was going through. I hadn't even heard kind of the words mental and illness put together. It just wasn't something that was talked about. So I think film is an incredible way to really start a conversation and help people feel less alone, which is what I want to do with my work.
Yeah.
Well, you want to inspire others, don't you? And you're achieving that through a funding initiative. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yes, so my company Broken Flames just partnered with the incredible producer Lucas A. Ferrara, and we've created a film fund. So emerging writers on the 20th of July can submit new scripts based on mental health, and we'll help them develop them and finance the films and give them advice and stuff like that, which I'm so excited about. I think there are so many incredible writers that maybe just kind of don't know how to make the first step, or are kind of very overwhelmed and don't know how to enter the industry in that sense. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the scripts.
So that's where that partnership will help that. They'll understand the system and the processes and the hoops that they have to jump through to get their stuff out there.
Yeah, and any advice that we can give. And obviously my company focuses on mental health projects, so we can give advice on what's triggering, what's kind of what you don't want to show, what you want to focus on, and not overemphasize and not lead to the stuff that I really didn't like when I was watching the media. So yeah.
I've got to ask, what was it like being listed on the Forbes 30 under 30?
It was crazy. I mean, because I remember that morning, it was about 7 a.m. and I saw the list had been posted, and I thought, obviously I'm not going to be on there. And then I was just scrolling and I saw my face, and I definitely thought that I hallucinated. So I had to get my mum to double check that I actually was on the list.
Really, you had to get your mum to check it wasn't a fake list? Oh my god!
It was just, I didn't expect it at all, and I literally had just woken up, and it was crazy.
When you realised it was there, I mean, how did you feel? What did your mum say? What did you say?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it's really amazing because it's kind of the first time I felt kind of recognised for my work and my company. People have now been calling me like an entrepreneur, which is just so weird to me because I kind of never set out to be that, and I never thought I'd be labelled that. So it's really nice to be recognised by such an amazing thing like Forbes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's next? And do you think kind of being listed on the Forbes 30 under 30 has kind of opened up even more opportunities for you?
It definitely has. I've had so many amazing people kind of want to connect and get involved with projects and really support my projects, which is so wonderful. Because we've got a lot of wonderful ones on our slate that we're getting ready, we're developing, getting ready to shoot and produce. And so just having more support is wonderful. Yeah.
And just finally, what advice would you have for other young, aspiring, especially female writers who are out there?
I would say to just go and do it. I think especially females often feel like, you have to have so many qualifications or you have to train or do this, but you can just create work now. You can, write in a notebook, you can submit it to so many different free competitions and networks, and you can create short films on your phones. Phones shoot such high quality, so there's really not an excuse, just get some people together.
And if they're saying, but I keep getting rejections, I keep getting knockbacks, and what would you say to that?
That unfortunately, it's probably like 99% rejection in the industry and 1% acceptance. So it is a part of, you know, your journey, and you just kind of have to move on it and keep going.
Yeah, you just need that one little break, just that
Definitely,
1%,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
You're incredibly inspiring to listening to. Just like listening to your story. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? At such a young age to have achieved so much.
you.
I feel quite a bit of an underachiever, got to say. What do you do?
No, it's inspirational. You know, it's brilliant to hear from you. You know, and you know, inspiring so many young people, so many writers. So yeah, really, thank you for speaking to us. Ella.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Actually, I have to ask, what do your friends get kind of over? Do they think of you a bit of a celebrity now?
Not at all, no. I have to like force them to watch some of my films sometimes, so yeah, not at all.
Yeah, keeping your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank
Ella.
you.
Really appreciate
Ella.
it.
Look forward to having you back one day soon, I hope.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.